cool.
Cool.
Oh,
So,
it says recording. Sorry,
does it?
carry on.
That's good. That's a good sign. So, we can just ramble as we do, and we'll see what pops up, eh? But since Karen hasn't seen Carissa for ages, there's probably some reflection and stuff that's going on in your world.
Oh, it's nice to see you.
Yes, you too. I'm currently drinking my Tulsi bloody
very good. Awesome.
turmeric and ginger. This one is.
Tulsi and ashwagandha. Awesome. So both got your Tulsi versions.
Supporting the Ayurvedic way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
or the playground there.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. How's everything for you, Carissa? How is everything?
Everything. Oh, everything's great. Well, we've just gone into lockdown here.
Okay.
So we're nearly officially day 1 today, which was cool.
So what does that mean? Is that like similar to how it is here?
We've got levels 1 to 4.
Cool.
We were at level 2 on Monday.
Okay.
And then it went to level 3. Then they went up to level 3 Monday afternoon, and then level 4 Wednesday night. So she just went straight through.
Wow.
Which is just essential services are open, but just stay at home. We're allowed to.
Can you go for walks?
Yeah. So we've been for a walk every day. And Willow goes to the little roller skating rink just across the road. Practices her rollerblades, which is real cool. And she came for a bike ride with me. I ran around the block tonight, and she came with me. So you can do all that. You can go to supermarkets and stuff. But if you walk past people, they recommend obviously a 2-meter gap between you. And honestly, it's people have like either crossed the road or people wait and then they wait till you pass. So it is cool because everybody's like, Mum was saying today, everyone's like super respectful of what's kind of happening, but it's just surreal, like seeing people, they look and then they have to think and then they're like, oh, this is not okay right now. So then it's just a kind of pass by and say hello. We were at the skating rink with Willow, and another family turned up, and then they came to sit, and then they realized that I was too close, so they went to the other side. Like on the other side of the rink. It was quite interesting.
Wow. So strange.
Hey.
I'm back. Baby is down.
That was. Can you come do that with my child?
Wow, there we go. There's a good point. The beauty of the breast, did you say?
Oh yeah, nah. Mine's 7. That's not happening.
Oh, you're so mean.
Tough love. You'll get there.
No, we've actually been not too bad though, Rosita. We've kind of, I went out today because I kind of still go out and support the coffee shop, but everybody, like, there's never more than 2 in the shop at once, and they're all gapped, and everyone's stepping aside and wide, and and I even we went into this little, like Benton Square, the supermarket thing down there, not to the supermarket, but into this, and talking to the flower lady, and she said it's really quietened down, but everybody's really kind of doing their thing, just appreciating what sort of has been told to do, and so it'll be interesting to see whether because it's interesting for me sitting in Australia and then having family in New Zealand and UK where they're all locked down, and we're kind of still got a bit of respectful freedom. I'll be interested to see how that plays.
We had the beauty of it, I think, over here is everybody's gotten super supportive with small businesses. So, Mike loves food and beer, and his favourite food place and beer place went online. So today we got a beer delivery dropped off in a box, but they drop it at the door, and then so we are still in our 2-meter thing. So he got all his fresh beer, and then he got all his pies and quiches and stuff all delivered again to the door. So we were stocked up, and then the everyone else got super innovative and just are like online, but the deliveries are real specific on how you pick up and drop off. Even the butcher said that he was still going to be open, but only for delivery, so you can order online and they'll drop it off in a 5k radius, which is really cool. And yeah, everybody's just gotten on board with ensuring everybody's supporting everyone and helping everyone out, which is kind of it's cool. It's nice to see that.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I've been impressed is that people look at you. They actually, even though they're further away, we're getting hellos and even conversations. So the positive spin is definitely triggering a bit more, interaction and connection. So yeah,
I've got a gorgeous old neighbour across the road, and I rang her up and I said, Mary, I'm just ringing to see how you're going. Do you need anything? I'm going down the shops. And she goes, Gabrielle, this is wonderful. I had Peter over this morning from across the road, and now I've got you ringing me. I've never had so much attention.
I love that.
Yeah.
And we had a really good laugh. And I said, Mary, may it long continue.
It's just a shame that we have to get to something like this to create that. But at the end of the day, out of chaos comes brilliance. So hopefully that'll just have the, a continuous ripple effect, really.
Yeah.
That's cool. Out of chaos comes brilliance.
Oh, well, I always think that. That's just my personal play. and being at peace through the chaos. That's, I think that's, but this whole thing at the moment is really triggering that, isn't it? Like you're really finding out your authentic place of where you're truly playing. And it's, I was kind of observing today and watching a few reactions, just even conversations on social media and stuff. And I was kind of funny. It's because, we're perceiving, here's the filter, we're perceiving to play this way, but then we're trying to sell our story because that's it. And really, if you're at peace, there's no story to sell. And so I'm watching all the things that I suppose what it gives me is we're really getting a true identity of ourselves if we're willing to look at it. And I'm pretty grateful for. Look, okay, first point. Take my hat off to my husband. I'm the best critique of where he plays, and I have a judgment probably on that aspect of seeing him in a probably limited field, but through this whole process, being Kiwi, being over here, not knowing whether your job because you don't have the support of the Australian government and stuff, and all that sort of playground could highly push him to a extreme and stressful and create that manifest that environment. He's been so calm through the whole thing and so peaceful, and he doesn't know day to day what's happening. And I just have to, I really now can appreciate where he's playing from, because I'm watching a lot of chaos and anger and frustration and everything else, and mainly reaction to what's going on and how everyone thinks it needs to be played and stuff, and the fear of not knowing what is happening. So yeah, kudos to my husband. How's it reflecting to you, Cara?
Oh, I've had so many different playgrounds and experiences over the last week. I've gone from huge appreciation for the rest and feeling excited at the whatever this is, to feeling really scared, and then the latest one was feeling powerless and a bit angry. Which was actually not really about Corona. Well, I mean, it probably is, but it for me, I don't know what it is, but I get triggered by 5G stuff. And
okay,
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so what's your story behind 5G?
Like I feel like I don't have a choice, like it's just happening, and concerned about the impact on health for humans.
Okay. So, what's your belief about all those?
I believe. I guess I believe that it's going to cause harm.
Yep. So it's all fear based. So
Yeah.
5G and the virus are the same thing. You've just shifted it from one to the other. No difference. It's interesting. The beautiful gift they've given you for me are two big things: is the powerless and you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So if you were triggering in that in your own life, where have you felt that? And then reflectively playing, so there comes your 5G and your corona, or COVID-19 or whatever they call it. But you know what I'm saying? That's the core thing. And they're the gifts of 5G and of now impacting on health as a belief system that we're told. Like it's no different to the conspiracy theories and you selling you in your Aura Vedic playground. You're totally convinced in space and play there. That's your belief. So you've just bought into a belief system around what impacts health. Now, I think we've discussed that before about if you're in a good place with self, really we should be able to go and drink petrol and be okay. But would I try it? Probably not, because I don't think my belief system may not. I don't know, but I don't feel a need to, and there's nothing to prove. So, for you, I think it's just consolidating the non-belief system, but you step in and out of,
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I can be really good and then I go into it.
Yep. But in comparison to a year ago,
yeah.
where are you sitting now?
So much better. Oh my god.
So the idea is that you've got to remember you got cell network and you got programming and stuff. So you just keep redoing the cycle. But what you're doing is filtering a way to believe in your cycle, and you're starting to pull those bits and start reconnecting to a new way of being. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
You're running a new program. To run a new program, yes, we can do it instantly. Yet our habits will be fall back into this, and then you'll catch yourself and you'll change and you'll make adjustment. So each time gets less. So the car of 2019 to the car of 2020, two totally different frequencies. Yes, they visit the playgrounds, and then they remember they have a choice of playground.
Yeah.
And then so obviously this call in particular is actually just reminding you, and you've attracted this call. You girls called it, okay? Yeah. You girls called it. You've attracted the call. It's just switching you back into, bang, empowerment.
Yeah.
That's
great. Thank you. Yeah.
Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa.
Hey. Hello. How are we all?
We're all full of ice cream.
Oh, I think the whole of Mornington is full of ice creams.
I'm so looking forward to the book. It's going to be a good book. This is Vanessa. This is my daughter Carissa.
Hi, Carissa.
Hi. How's it going?
Carissa, knowing that you play in a different. Yeah, knowing that you play in a different field and you've listened to Cara, what's your feedback on that?
Interestingly enough, well, this space has given me it's probably the calmest I've ever been in this situation with Corona at the moment. I've had like zero anxiety or anything. It's just been like bliss. However, prior to this, I was working on something similar. I don't know if this will resonate with you, Cara, or not, but I caught myself in, how you were talking about going up and down and you just jump back into it. And then I questioned myself. I was like, what am I looking for? And I realized that I was looking for a world where that didn't exist. And really, like,
wow.
I started laughing because I was like, it's really unrealistic. Like, it's always going to happen because I guess those things are memories, right? Like, so then I started kind of playing with the idea of like, if that's just a memory and I'm just going to you know, it's going to remind me every now and then what do I want the reminder to be? And I guess what Mum kind of touched on was that look at how far you've come. So it's an opportunity to kind of reflect and then look at the longer the spaces between everything. But you're always gonna kind of pop in and out. That's the way life is, right? And that's how we learn and that's how we grow. So it's looking for the gifts and the switches or whatever. I guess a gift being that we all get to jump on a call and kind of chat it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably what I took out of that is recognizing it's not actually, for me too, it was going back and going, you know, there's no need to beat yourself up about having these thoughts or being there. It's all okay. Everything is okay, and you know,
yeah,
it's a playground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to top Vanessa up, Kara's just reflected on 5G and the virus and what it's triggered in her, and the points we got to are powerless, and she didn't have a choice, which really is a reflective emotion attached to a cell memory of growing up as we know, and we could go back down there. Like, and the art is, for anyone that's probably watching or wanting to do that, I'd say to Kara, when have you ever felt powerless in life, and go to the memory, and there'll be lots of them. Go to the earliest memory, and if you go to the earliest memory and look with the eyes you have today compared to the eyes you had then, and see it for what it is, and changing that memory association, so therefore the reactive playground doesn't become so significant in each moment. And that's, you know, so and I was saying 5G is no different to the virus at all. It's just the same reflective playground. If we're all in a good place, we're well looked after, and if we've all got faith, there's nothing wrong. And if the world is perfect in its imperfections, so for me today was the multi-playgrounds. You talk about multi-dimensional being, and everyone sees it outside, further away, and I'm laughing going, well, it's all here. We've got the conspiracy theorists, we've got the medical theorists, we've got the spiritual theorists, we've got the Ayurvedic people, we've got the 5G people, we've got the mums, the dads, the children. We've got multiple realities, and everyone's viewing it from their truth. Not one of them's wrong, and they can only see from where they're choosing to play.
Which is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I think, and that's about coming to peace and not trying to tell someone they're right or wrong.
Yeah.
I love that in your message today, your text message, your Facebook message.
Yes, it was very much written around a reactive playground that I witnessed, which was great for me because I have got something to write about, you know. But and the person, I think, obviously recognised it in themselves, and I'm very grateful for them bringing it to the attention, because they're one of billions playing the same game. But I think it was a broad message about it doesn't really matter. It's only matter if we make it matter, and life is an experience to be had. Whether it be the conspiracy theorists or the church or the sporting playground or eating ice creams, it's all an experience.
Yeah.
Gabrielle, how's this whole thing settling in Frankston?
Yeah, I've had some interesting experiences with it. I think initially and thanks to the conversation I had with you early on, I initially got really triggered subconsciously with my fear. And nice. The other girls probably don't. Well,
yeah, I think it's probably a good story to share.
It's a really good story. But we're kind of leading up to everything that's been happening. My husband's been really on the pulse of it. And he was like, it was probably 2 weeks ago now, he said to me, I think we should go into voluntary lockdown. And I was kind of like, I kind of really didn't know, but I was like, okay. So we took my son out of kinder, you know, a week or 2 weeks before the kinder's now shut, but it was 2 weeks before it shut. And we took him out of daycare. And it all got triggered because my husband started working from home. So his office said, okay, everyone, you know, whoever can work from home is working from home now. And he was one of the first to be given permission. And so he's like, I think we should go into voluntary lockdown. So I said, oh, okay. And it was very much about, we knew we weren't vulnerable, but it was the right thing to be doing for the rest of the community. And then
Gotta love this.
What's that?
Gotta love this.
I know. And then my mum rang me one day, and my mum's like a free bird, and she rang me one day, and out of the blue she said to me, what do you think I should do? And she's 80, lives by herself in a great apartment up in Port Melbourne. And I was like, wow, that was really unlike my mum to ask for advice around something like this, because she was really just doing her own thing. And I was like, oh, I don't know, let me have a think about it, Mum. And I suddenly was like, oh my God, I've got to protect my mum. So I was like, went through this whole negotiation process with my husband about, okay, if we're going to, you know, self-isolate, let's bring Mum in and she can stay with us. And we got to a point where he agreed that, you know, if she had 2 weeks self-isolating alone first, because she'd been so social and he didn't want her giving us anything. So anyway, it gave me huge relief. We were all going to self-isolate for 2 weeks on our own, and then Mum was going to move in with us. And then I had a conversation with Ali, and I laughed at Ali because you were just like, yeah, whatever, like, you know, play it however you want to. Like, I just felt like there was no judgment, but it really made me realise, did I really want to be having the experiences I was having? Like, this is really how I wanted to be with it all. And then I suddenly became conscious. I went for a walk and I bumped into my neighbour who we'd normally hug. And she came up to me to give me this big hug, and I noticed that I was fearful. And I was like, oh, this is funny. I hadn't really been conscious of my fear, even though I'd been making these decisions about self-isolating. And anyway, and I was like, oh, it was like the conversation we had, Ali, it was like that day it kind of percolated and sunk in, and I was like, oh my God. And then that night I said to my husband, Kara's going to come over. And he's like, no, we're self-isolating. Kara can't come over. And as soon as he said that, I was like, what? I can't see my friend? This is outrageous. And then I said, I need to get out of the house. I'm going to go down to the beach and swim. And he's like, no, you can't go swimming in the ocean. And I'm like, oh my God. What have we got? Like, where are we? What are we doing? And that really, I was like, nah, this is not, I can't do this. And so anyway, that was when I realised that I think I'd had another conversation with you the next day, Ali, and that was when I think you said to me, I don't know if it was that conversation. Anyway, you said to me, I think Ferg was reflecting your fear. And again, I didn't get it immediately, but that day it just sunk in. I went, oh my God. And then all of a sudden I became really conscious of my own fear. And I was like, wow. And as soon as I owned my fear, I then was able to be with it, and then started having conversations with Fergal about the decisions we'd made. And, you know, we agreed, okay, I said, you know, I can't do this self-isolating. He's like, okay, well, let's not do it. And then, you know, within 3 days of that, we were talking about going out for dinner in Mornington, having completely shifted ourselves. And then we went to go for dinner, and actually all this fear came up, and I was like, I can't go to dinner. And then it was so funny because I remember having a conversation with Kara, and my brother rang me the next day, and he was like, I'm going to be near you guys. I know Fergal's got the policy about isolation. Maybe I can come and watch the footy with him through the window. And it's so funny because it's the brother I'm probably closest with, and I just love him. And I was like, oh my God, if you're going to be anywhere near me, I want you to come to our house. And he goes, you do know I've been dubbed the super spreader. And I was like, I don't care. I want you to come. So anyway, he ended up coming over with my goddaughter and watching the footy, and I gave him a big hug, and I was like, we completely shifted. And I've still been conscious of some fear coming up, but I'm in such a better place. So yeah, it was really interesting for me to go from it being subconscious and thinking, geez, Purple's really scared, to then actually realising it was mine, owning it, integrating it, and then actually being really comfortable. So
I think that's the biggest gift. I think that's what I'm saying about this whole thing, is about the depth of authenticity. Like if someone was to chat to you and they'd probably think, well, and you'd think, oh well, I've got my shit together because look at the fear they're living in, and then the reality happens, and then you find how peaceful you truly are. And I think with an awareness, you can see and feel and recognize, and obviously chat and acknowledge and look a bit deeper. But there's a lot that will miss the boat and won't see it at all, and it'll be an external stimulation and a blame and it's either his fault, her fault, whatever. And but yeah, there's huge gifts in that if you can be open enough to see it. I mean, it was good to witness and how fast it changed, like within a call to you, and then she's at my house bringing the kids over and stopping off, and I'm like, dude, and then and my phone calls were very simple actually. They were just, she'd ring and I'd just start laughing, and then I'd say something, and then I'd laugh again, and then I'd go, you play it whatever way you want to play it, and that was pretty much it. But with, I think, the knowledge and stuff that you've gained about yourself, investigation of how you function, what you can feel, what works for you, it showed how fast it shifted. Like you, Cara, with awareness tonight, you've got it, boom, 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 boom. And then it's like, oh shit, I've just fallen back into that way. If you want to add to anything, anyone, just please pop in and say on Gabrielle's fun lifestyle in Frankston. Out of hibernation, but it's playing it. It's not that.
So are you isolating now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, she's out buying choc tops.
Yeah,
that's
we had those here.
And it was funny. Like I went into a cafe today. Although actually, after I went to your house, Ali, last week, I thought I'm going to get myself a coffee, and I walked in, and of course the woman that was serving me, she just blown her nose. And she had like redness she must have been doing some serious nose blowing. And I was watching and I was like, oh, this is really interesting that I've attracted this.
Absolutely.
But she did very politely. She went over and washed her hands right in front of me, and then came and served me. But I still thought, oh, this is, yeah. And that was when I was still processing my fear. I thought, oh, this is really interesting.
It was a great reflection of the shift, though. So you're getting it. She could have just not washed her hands, but you got the. Yeah. So again, that knowing that you're well looked after, that theory.
Yes. And funnily enough, amongst it all, I actually a couple of nights ago, Oscar woke up in the middle of the night with a fever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And by the next day, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, we were practical, we were monitoring his temperature and stuff. And I was like, I just kept thinking, oh no, I'm gonna keep, like, rather than going into the poor Oscar, poor little guy, I hope it's gonna be okay. I was just like, no, how amazing is his body that it, the temperature goes up to get rid of whatever it is that's upsetting him. And it's been really interesting to watch him actually progress through it. So
so nice reflection.
At one point I did say to her, well, could it be, like, is it something we should worry about? It's like, no, don't even, he was like, not at all. And I was like, oh, that's, it's really, I was like, wow, even to have that happen, and he's come through it already. So
I think at the end of the day, it's not ignoring it, it's not happening, because in some reality it is happening, and our reality, part of our multi-dimensional reality, whatever you want to play. So, if it was to present itself, it would present itself for whatever reason. But I think it's respecting everyone's playground and playing it the best way you can, as peacefully as you can, just naturally as you can, as you are. I think it's not that I go out there and, I know at the moment hugs aren't a big thing. So it's probably one thing I'm a hugger, and I'm aware people don't want to be hugged, and some people actually still have allowed me to hug, and that's, but I'm probably a minimal. I don't go out and see 50,000 people either, but as much as I do go out and have my coffee, it's I don't know, it's an interesting playground. I'm kind of not buying too much into it, and like I said, it's go.
Is that what's happening? It's just an awareness. It's teaching people awareness of others and awareness of everything. you said, like, you know, you're normally a hugger, and it's just we're adapting to everybody else, and I guess it comes back to
look, honestly, I wouldn't want to adapt, but I think I am. I think an aspect of me is I can feel the difference in the energy. And saying that, there's a different social aspect to it. Murray and I went for a walk to Benton's today, which was, you know, good 15-minute walk, and we cut past about 3 lots of people, and they all looked eyeball to eyeball, said hello. You know, everyone was keeping space. It's probably more, and Murray said, Jesus, people are a lot more talkative or acknowledging and social, you know, and so as much as we're not hugging, we're definitely connecting. So you get it from that space. I think it's I'll probably see a friend tomorrow, and, you know, I'll probably give her a cuddle because that's what we do. But I don't kind of plan it. It just comes or go. I just knowing, you know. I did find myself, I went into the health shop the other day to get something, and funnily enough, I'd actually just put some stuff on my hands, and you know, the on gut stuff, and I was like, that was even weird, but that's what I did. And I walked into the shop, and they have the back door open now because no one touches a handle, obviously. And so I waltzed in there, and I touched the bread, and then I went, oh shit, and just touched I didn't have to think about it, forgetting I'd already done my hands anyway. So, you know, like if I was going to play in that field, I wouldn't figure it out. But I was aware that I was playing that. And so even to the point I went to touch the lady because we were having a laugh, and I went to touch her, and I went, oh, and I pulled out. And the funniest thing is they actually said, it's okay. You know, we don't mind you touching. We don't mind you cuddling. And so their theory about the whole thing wasn't based on a fear. They believe it's a programmed, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So their belief in their reality wasn't playing. So it's kind of nice seeing the different realities coming in and playing and allowing everybody their own game. And not to say, like I said, for whatever reason, I sprayed my hands, and that could have been subconsciously for something I don't even know. It could be an issue of me falling back into something. It could be, I can make 50,000 things of it, but it could also be an awareness that maybe there was something that I did need. So it's kind of just being entertained, like Cara, entertained by what's the choices, and then reassessing where you want to play.
It was funny when it was like a little while ago, I hadn't been to the shops for like 2 weeks, and I'd heard about the toilet paper thing, but I hadn't actually seen it. And we went to Aldi, and I walked in, and the whole rack was just empty. And this was before all the food craziness came in. But and I felt straight away this fear come up, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, because if I didn't have a backstory and I saw the toilet paper empty, I might have just thought, oh, the toilet paper stock hasn't come in, or, you know, I might have thought nothing of it. Like I might have just thought, oh, there's no toilet paper today. But because I had this backstory, it triggered like this fear. Oh my God, there's no toilet paper. What else is there? Yeah. So I just thought that was interesting, though, that I caught myself. Like in the past, I probably would have just gone straight into the fear and
store. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to tell some good stories. Vanessa, how's life on the farm?
Interesting. So I had an interesting toilet paper story right at the start of the whole coronavirus panic buying, where I also went into and there was no toilet paper, and I went to another shop and there was no toilet paper, and I started to panic, and I just, this is not how I want to play this. And so I went home and I went, you know, obviously I don't need any toilet paper at the moment, and if I do need it, it will show up. And the next day I was at the little supermarket in Mount Martha, and I walked in there to get something totally different, and there was toilet paper, and then there was hand sanitizer, and then there were sterile hand wipes, and it was like all this stuff that nobody could get anywhere all in the one place. And it was just like, it was wonderful because it was a reminder right at the start of playing from a space of faith and knowing that everything would be okay. And that's pretty much how I've played the whole last week. Is it only a week? It seems like it's been
Yeah.
forever. And I've just been having the most amazing experiences. And just Carissa, for a little bit of background, we lost pretty much all of our business overnight last week. And so I could have very easily gone into fear. And I have said to Ali, if I didn't know Ali and I haven't had the experiences and the conversations I've had with her, that it would have played out very differently. But having had that, I was just able to be present to it, to accept it, and to make the most out of it, and have had an amazing, amazing week.
Nice.
Very, very humbling week. Humanity at the core is pretty powerful and incredible. Yeah, we don't get to see it play very often, but you witnessed it probably tenfold. And inevitably it's going to benefit you a hell of a lot in the long run. It's Murray and I said, now everybody knows Chop Tops are on the peninsula.
I was just going to say, is Vanessa Chop Top? Because I can see that on her shirt.
Yes.
Oh, that is awesome. I've been following this story all week.
Oh, then you know.
No, it's been a very no, it's good though, Vanessa, because if anybody does tend to want to watch this and gets this far through the video, they'll have some insight to that story, and everyone on the peninsula definitely would just about know about Chop Top now. And I think this is the thing. It might not be now, but afterwards now there's so many people more informed about places and things that are around us that we have, none of us have got any idea. I see a cafe opens tomorrow, the cafe that we used to go to, and they're just serving through the window, and obviously with limited, and I think everybody's respectable, they all go there and takeaway cups and standing so far apart, and you've got so much. I don't think you can have so many in a gathering, so you can't stay for that long anyway. And it's pretty well played that way. Everyone's just adjusting to fit into, which is not me really, because I'm not a fitter inner, but I also have a respect of a way to play, and I respect another's way to play. And at the moment, this is a very dominant playground. Does it make me believe everything that is said and done? No, not really. I'm just happy playing. I have just no attachment. If that's how it's going to be played, I'm okay. It's I'll still go and pick up my coffee while I can pick up coffee, and I'll it's not that it's really funny because Murray said my lifestyle has actually not changed a lot. I mean, I go out for coffee and I come home and I do my bits, so I'm not out there like you're interacting with public, so you had to make a call. There's a whole different scenario for those sort of people at the moment, whereas Tyler, he's chosen to stay in Canberra and sit it out and see what happens. I questioned him and where he sat with that, and it was like he messaged me today, not today, a couple of days ago, and said he's happy with his decision he made. He didn't feel yuck in the tummy, so he's starting to identify making decisions that feel right instead of out of fear. So there was obviously, because my thing is if there's any fear, jump on a plane or just make your way home. And there was none of that. He doesn't know what the go is. He's just playing it moment by moment. But then his hours were dropped at work. And after he made his call and he kind of obviously just allowed everything to be, he got more hours this week than he had planned to get. So, I think that is when you take away trying to control the situation and just allow it to be and make the best of whatever it is, then little gems pop up all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Carissa's in lockdown, Vanessa, so she can't really, she's not really doing a hell of a lot. They're enjoying.
Hey, I've been doing more. I've done all year.
yeah. Please, that wasn't kind of, okay, fair enough, Mum. But she's got 4 weeks, what she would class as a holiday, really, which, knowing her, she'll be creative and do her own thing. But they've had a good couple of, 1 day where she's actually done cleaning. That
Yeah.
in itself was funny.
We've had it's been really interesting in the house because so I live with my partner and obviously my daughter Willow and my partner's dad as well, and he's 72, real old school, and it's entertaining as so he watches the news every night. So if we need to know anything about what's happening, he's our man. Willow, however, she was on the phone to her friend saying, "See you in a month." She was just ready for a party. And Mike was just out bulk food buying because he was like, we're just going to eat and be merry. So that's been really cool. Interestingly enough, like I said at the start of the conversation, that it's been the most calm I've felt in so long. We've had our dad is in a rest home here, and they've been in lockdown 2 weeks prior to the actual lockdown, so we haven't been able to go and see him. And he is just in a room there by himself. He's only 55, and so he's just surrounded by all these older people, but he's blind, so he can't see them, so it's probably great. But we just had a conversation that Heidi came around, my sister, the other day, and she had to have a phone call with them about what happens if he gets corona. So if he gets corona in there and he's got compromised immune system with his lungs, then we can't visit him and he would just die. So we've had the complete, well, I feel like I've had the complete package of, you know, the good and the bad and the merry, but throughout the whole thing, I've been completely calm. And I asked myself the other day, like, what is it that, you know, if everyone's quite afraid of it, is it the dying? And am I afraid of dying? And I think we talked about it, Mum, on the phone, and I was just like, there's no regret. There's no, you know, like it wouldn't be ideal if you did die from corona. Don't get me wrong, it's not an ideal situation. But the reality is, I feel like I'm as authentic as I can be right now, and I've said everything I've needed to say, and I am everything I wanted to be. Which is then, funnily enough, I recognise that I spend a lot of energy in trying to make my business, you know, something and to be something and a success and all of that, when the reality, when shit hits the fan, that really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's allowed me to kind of shift really back into that authentic of the core of my being, which has been great. So
I think there's a valid point in what you're discussing, as much as you guys know, and whoever chooses to listen, that you guys have Carissa and you know, Heidi and Braids and stuff, that you guys have had to deal with looking at death in its eyes through your father for a very long time. So when scenarios, and this is what I said, someone asked me, why am I so chilled out about and not and I can only put it down to is that when you face death and you've looked it in the eyes, because Chris's dad died and came back, and so we've dealt very much of being gifted life again, I suppose, and he's hung in there, and he's I'm not saying it's been the most pleasant life he's had to experience, but he's consistently seems to deny odds and keep going. But I think we make the best of every moment that you can have, and if that's a gift he's taught all of us, then it's a life not wasted. And I think, especially with the three girls, and I'm probably Tyler's lucky enough to be in amongst that because he's had a lot to do with me, is that they a lot of people haven't had that or dealt with that, or if they have dealt with it, they've chosen a more victimized space of playing instead of looking for the gifts and what it's giving us. So I think this is the same as the virus. It's definitely triggering a conversation. Murray actually said to me, and he goes, "Oh my God," something about, you know, I think everyone's just worrying about dying, he said to me one day. And I was going, and he goes, "Oh, did you say that?" Like, fucking, yeah, probably about 3 weeks ago, but that's okay. But the reality is strip it back, you know, strip it back. The virus, you know, and life is to be appreciated and to be experienced. And, well, it's a choice. If you don't have to appreciate it, if you don't want to, that's just a personal choice in my playground. if you want to play victim, you can play victim to life. It's a free. That's your free will. You know, that's a free will. We can't judge another in a way they want to play. So I think that's got to. I don't know. Would you say that's in the protection zone that you went into, Gabrielle? Was it a saving, a fear of that sort of stuff, or do you think, or if you stripped it right back?
I think it was, and it was funny because I thought I was fine with dying, so it's been a great unfoldment for me to see. Oh, actually, no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, sorry, Gabrielle, do you think it changes though once you've got children? Because I felt like you deal with that when you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
Got children, you said attachment.
I thought she understood that, but that's great. Thank you for being here, Carissa.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect. No, that's bang on.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is. That was. Yeah, that's the state of the obvious for me. And
I like obvious.
I said it to you too, Gabrielle.
What's that, Cara?
We had the same conversation.
Did we?
Well. Yeah.
So now you're ready to hear it, which is a different point. We can all sit there telling you, but Carissa's moment was more important, and it's probably more detached from our group. So that's and I think if you look at everybody's trying to save because they want to save our children and stuff, and that's, look, honestly, again, I can thank Mark for that, as I learned a lot of faith and trust in our separation and his illness, about having faith whether my kids come back safe, I had to learn a lot of that through those processes. And whereas a lot of people, you get a happy married couple that are happily married, got a couple of kids, and all they're doing is looking after the kids, that they just want to keep them safe. Absolutely. Keep their parents safe. Absolutely. And I'm not denying it. That's just for me, I've come to peace with it, and I trust that my kids will live a life that they will reflect and create, and I want it to be their life, not my life. I don't want to be controlling it. I don't want to be, I'll have my two bobs with every now and then, and they'll put me straight, or I won't hear from them if they want to discuss something and don't want to look at themselves. So we have those moments. Vanessa,
what is that thing you said the lawyer said to you? That was like the best advice you gave me.
Children are lent to us.
That's it. Everything's on lend. Nothing's
so I think that comes down to that quote I did this week or last week. Life is, life will always show us our attachment to it. I can't remember whatever I wrote, but that's,
she just had some gold.
She does. She gets it quite often.
Oh my God, that's so good. It's so funny because as I was just putting Oscar down, I was looking and going, oh, I just love you, Oscar.
The reality of it all. I'm not sure whether you actually saw that quote. I'm going to pull it up. The world addresses our attachments we have to a way of life and life itself. Now you may have read it last week, but I bet you feel it tonight.
Yeah, I feel it different. Yeah. And it's actually funny because when I went back and had a look at some of the old Zoom rooms, the one I looked at was the fear one. It was all about Paddy, and when I locked him in the car.
Yeah.
And it was a great Zoom room. And anyway. Yeah.
Vanessa.
And then his message to me at the end of it was, Mum, I've got this.
Yes. Yeah, I know. Allow at how old? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't even 2.
Yeah.
Was that the one with the fire trucks?
Yeah. Yeah. How many emergency service? And that to me is, if you want to know you're well looked after. I said that when Tyler fell off his bike and, the boys were worried about it. Same thing. He was, an ambulance stopped to see if he was okay. And I said, no, in life, you're always well looked after. Vanessa, I want to get to you because you've got kids and they're all of different ages. And because of this discussion, I think you'll have some different reflection that would be valuable.
Yeah, that's interesting. So my boys are absolutely fine with it. I don't feel attached to any particular outcome for me or my children. I feel that the gift for me in coronavirus has been just being so incredibly present. Like, I feel like because it is something so different and so new, there are no reference points around it. So you can't create a story about what's going to happen next. And so for that reason, I find I am just so here in the moment now, and trusting that it's all going to work out okay.
Nice.
And then therefore media created stories, and everybody buys into whatever's where they're at, and they make their stories around that also. Just go back to your kids and sit with that for a minute. Get a feel of it. There's something that's just kind of, I can feel, and it's just not quite. And I just want to see if you can feel it. And too, with the reference of where we were going and the attachments and the outcomes, and knowing, so what happened when we were discussing it, and you go back and watch it and just look at yourself, because hopefully the whole screen's on there. You'll see where your hands went and what you did. And so to me, I'm not denying, absolutely in a great space. I'm not mocking that shit at all. What I'm saying is there's some, you know how we talked about the underlying subconscious. And Gabrielle picked up on the fear that was hidden that she couldn't see, but it was subconscious because consciously she's playing that. And to me, there's something of similar essence, and I could be wrong and you can shoot me in the foot, I really don't care, but there's something of similar essence that plays in your arena with your children. And I don't know what it is, and it really doesn't bother me, but if you can go back and watch this and have a look at the question, where you divert to in the answer, and then watch your actions.
Yeah.
They all give away trigger points. That it's not quite as. So I'm getting very picky. This is ridiculously picky, but I think for you, it's a benefit to see where you truly sit with it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I've got the only thing that's coming up for me, because I said my boys were okay with it, and they're absolutely, they appear to be fine. So Kate's got some interesting stuff going on with it, and she's the one who often reflects back things to me.
You've got it.
Yeah,
you've got it.
So she's absolutely hating uni, and so my daughter Chris has started uni this year, and she's absolutely hating uni and wants to quit. Yeah. And I do have a slight attachment to her continuing with uni. So.
Yeah, I get. This is what I'm getting. Okay, yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. But I'm not going to sit there and point the finger and tell you, because the most empowering thing is for you to find it yourself. But that's what I was feeling, and I noticed you ignored her straight away and only focused on your boys. So you see, girls, that's what when you go back and watch that, you'll be able to see that whole thing play out now that I've explained it to you. And if you're present enough and you're listening enough and you're being what you're talking about, you'll feel it, you'll know it, and yet she could tell anybody else the same story and they'll be totally convinced. And that's the beauty of coming to peace. Like I said, I'd be gutted if anything happened to my kids. I'm not denying I'd be emotional, I'd be fucked, pissed off, or probably whatever. Then I'd have a choice in how long I wanted to play there. And I know that. I know that. And I know that if anything happened to Chris, or if it happened to me, that we'd be both pissed off, but we'd move on and embrace the gift that we got from each other through the process, and inspire to bring that out in life a lot more from that. So that's why I was going with the age gap. So what I'm saying is the age gap doesn't, as young as they are, and you're protective, it's still going at, Caitlin's like 18 or whatever, or is it Caitlin? She's whatever age, as Tyler is 20. And And, you know, I probably was going, oh, I'm okay for him to be home, but I'm also okay for him to stay there. You make the decision. My big thing is, my question to my kids are you fearful? You know, are you living in fear? Because I know what fear can create. So therefore, if you're fearful, come home and be happy and make it easy, you know. It's a choice. But he worked through it, and he's at this point just winging it over there. Cara, a playground for you to enter at some point.
Maybe not too far away.
So, you know, and I don't know, you could refer back to your parents even, or family, or it's all the same. The attachments are all the same. Yeah, I just think it's just what, like I said right at the beginning, the gift of this is the authenticity that it's bringing out at the core of our being. That's what I'm loving, because that's where I live, you know, and that's where a lot of people think we play, but there's not many, truthfully. I mean, there's probably a lot more but we don't get to see a lot more. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great opportunity to empower ourselves through the process of fear, you know, if that's where we're choosing to play. Riss, have you got anything that you want to reflect and summarize? Because I know you'll be just about hitting late at night. What is it over there?
Oh, I'm like wired now.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Yeah. Great. Do I have anything to reflect on? No, it's just been it's interesting talking about the fear around death and things. The funny thing I got out of just all that was I don't have I don't feel that I have an attachment with Willow and around the dying, or, you know, something happening. However, Dad, I have had an attachment for quite a very long time, and this is the first time I felt quite calm that, you know, whatever happens and things, that I've said all, and I've loved and things. Yes, probably Willow, I still do, but I do feel that a bit.
Yeah, no, but that's it's a nice switch though. Like, if Dad has been focused, and I can understandably so, for so long. Willow is a bit of a freelancer, and she's got a lovely gift of Kelly's nature of freedom, which I think if she embraces that, she'll be well and truly awesome for life. That I think it's the natural maternal thing. I don't think I think that's our natural maternal thing. We want to save and protect and stuff. Along that, we learn to trust and have faith, and as she climbs and does her things, that, you know, instead of saying, don't climb there, you know, don't do that, because, you know, that's just us worrying, not her, you know. And I think, Gabrielle, you had that early on with Paddy, is that maternal fear that we would, okay, don't jump off this, or, you know, whatever, at the playground, and he'd go stand at an edge, and I'm sitting there going, shit, like, and he's like, oh yeah, and he looks over, and he's only young, and he waddles all back. You know, the only fear is what we're going to create that outcome to be.
Learn a lot through children. Oh, Cara, you got so much to look forward to.
Yeah, I think Gabrielle's going to put a book out on that. She'll have it all sorted for you.
I've already learnt so much from you guys, and like all of Gabrielle and stories about Paddy, and yeah, it's been amazing.
Well, I'll tell you something, Cara. Now that you've learnt all that, you can throw it all out the window and do it your own way. Beautiful. Don't listen to a word. Find out what works for you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Summarize. Do you want to just go around? Anyone want to say anything, or I've got something else that they want to bring up that we haven't addressed because we've been pretty much rambling?
Could I ask a question? If for example, if I do go back into the fear playground, is there Well, I'm just curious about like a quick way out or a, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I'm at.
Okay, so as soon as you're not present,
Yeah, okay.
where are you?
So if I'm not present, then I'm probably in fear, or I'm worrying about the future, which hasn't happened yet.
So the fastest gift is probably just have a breath. Focus on your breath, because you do breathing in yoga and stuff. Just go to the breath, and what it'll do is change the system, and it'll just get less and less. And don't say if it, for me, it's not if you go back into the fear playground. We visit that. I'm not ignorant to that. We visit that.
Yeah.
It's a choice, and don't beat yourself up with a way of going into that.
Okay. That's good.
Because then you've got an expectation of a way of being when you're already perfect as you are.
Yeah, okay.
What is the fear? It interests me. With just curious now, because I get real
go for it
on this stuff. With, like you just mentioned, that fear and how to switch and get out of that, like you were trying to escape a fear.
Yeah.
So if the fear represented something in your life that you were trying to escape, if you could pinpoint what that is and come to peace with that, then whether fear crept in or didn't, it wouldn't matter. But right now, there's something you're still trying to escape.
Oh, that's interesting.
Herself.
And then if it all is one,
yeah.
sorry, you asked for a fast track, so I just
gave you. I was like, what could it be? But of course, that's what fear is. You're escaping what's present yourself. Like,
very well said.
Yeah.
And saying that, absolutely relevant what Chris was saying. You could go back and look at the association to whatever it is, but again, I'm all about cutting down stories.
Yeah.
And getting it very simple, and everything will revert back to self. Look at everything to self. So if you're at peace with yourself, you'll be at peace with the virus. But if you're not at peace with yourself, you won't be at peace with the virus.
I remember you said that about the fires, and I was like, wow.
There we go.
Everything.
I just repeat all the same shit. So like, just change that one event.
Just until we get it.
Yeah. Now that's a good question though. That's I think there's so many ways and tools. You just got to do what works. You got to do what works for you through the process. What at this moment, sometimes someone's going to say, "Well, fuck breathing. Like breathing's a thing that I'm worried about." So that's not going to be any good to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got to really actually that was another quote. It says, this week's been great because there's so much dynamics. I'm just getting quote after quote after quote coming. But there was another quote this week that I wrote, something about stop listening to others so you can feel yourself. Because we've forgotten when we can feel it. It's like Tyler saying to me, I didn't feel something. So he removed his focus from all the dynamics of being stuck in Canberra, for financial pressure, the work pressure, everything. And he must have taken all that away in that moment, and he just felt into it. And he said, I feel okay. And as soon as he did that, often the work came, and at the moment we're not going into lockdown and stuff. So everything's kind of fitting into his choice, that is his playground that he's chosen. So I think that's it. If you stop listening to friggin' everyone's listening to media, well, media can deliver whatever they want. They can tell you any story you want. And this is the thing. If you want to find every reason about the virus or whatever in the news, and it, the effect it's having on, everyone globally, and you don't want to find out positive facts, you're going to find every negative fact, every negative percentage, every negative experience, and you're going to believe everything you read because that's your focus. But if you can step out of that and just pull yourself out of what everyone believes and stop listening and feel what works for you and where you're sitting at. And it is about, making a cup of tea and sitting down and having and enjoying a cup of tea, because that's what's happening right here, right now. Yes, this is going on, and yes, I'm aware of it, but it's not dominating me.
It's empowering.
And I mean, I could ramble on about all night. It wouldn't matter whether it's virus or it's family or it's whatever. And like I said right at the beginning, if you're a conspiracy theorist, if you're even the banking, the economic stuff, the political stuff, or you can, the medicine, everything's going to have evidence. Every single thing you look at is going to back whatever you believe. So my thing is, choose wisely. That brings something that brings you peace. It's probably a good place to end, I reckon.
Yeah.
Nice to have you aboard, Carissa.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Oh no. I
You guys
appreciate
enjoy your extra bit of freedom that you're currently getting. Although this is the freest I've felt, and I'm in my own four walls.
I know. It's a lot of people that are full on at work are going to be appreciating some quality family time, eh?
Yeah.
So it depends on how where we're at, I suppose, with life. Cara, how are you feeling?
Yeah, good.
You're back.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
It's nice to catch up again on this. I'll probably do a few more, and I'll probably open it up a bit broader. Chrissy, you might have a Kiwi group or something that we could coordinate. I think is probably, and because you're all in lockdown, I probably can fit into it during the day or whatever with some groupies.
Lockdown groupies.
Yeah. Yes. Gabrielle, you're probably the same. If you've got a group of ladies that want to get on board, just hook up a time, space, and I'll make it work. Or if it doesn't work, it wasn't meant to, but we trust that. Vanessa, what are you going to do? Write a book?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I look forward to that book.
Yeah. I think it's the perfect time to write a book.
Yeah, I do too. It's all playing out perfectly.
Yeah, it was because when all this shit happened with the business at first, and it wasn't, it looked like it wasn't playing out perfectly. I just sat in this space of curiosity and went, I know that life works out for me. So what am I not getting here? Because this is just not, there's something I'm not getting because I know it's all perfect. So, yeah.
No, it's going to be a good story. Okay, guys. Thanks. Until next time, if you guys just can message me and hook up and everything else, I will work out how to stop recording.
Oh, good luck.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
So fun.
Thanks, Sally.
Bye.
Bye.
Good
See you, girls.
to see you, Chris.
Yeah, say bye.
Aww.
So cute.
He's so gorgeous. That's perfect timing.
You want to say